Happy Manic Monday, Matt. We call most Mondays Manic Mondays. It's nice to be back at the con.
It's quiet. It's another quiet Monday. It's feeling like August again here in April.
You know, I tried to. We're gonna cover a few things, Matt. We're gonna cover a few things. I tried to watch the college final and
Hockey?
in hockey, and it started early, and by the
Yeah.
time I tried to find it, it was already 3-0.
Yeah, that's when I picked it up too. It was 3-0. UMass had no problem wiping out St. Cloud.
The best thing St. Cloud had going for them is their awesome ripoff of the Canadians uniform.
I agree. Like those.
Love them.
I mean, they're probably closer to St. Cloud State's probably closer to the northern border of Minnesota anyway, so they're allowed to be half. Minnesotans
half Canadian.
Minnesotans are kind of half Canadians.
Yeah, for sure, man. When I spent a lot of time in Canada, and I know more than a few people from the Northwoods, and there's a lot of "ya hater, how's your beer" on both sides of it. Right. I did a whole Manja TV vernacular or vocabulary test, and our friend Longplex, we talked to him a little bit about it, and I threw it out there. In Canada, when you ask somebody how's their beer, they don't want to know like a Suds review about your beer. When you say, "Hey, how's your beer?" they're asking you, "Hey, slacker, are you ready for another?"
I was gonna say, do you need another one? Yeah.
How's your beer? Like, is it close to empty? Because I'm on my fourth and you're still nursing that first one.
And I've already been to the beer store twice.
Yeah, I hate her. Matt, speaking of nursing, Hideki was out to a giant lead, and man, did he have to nurse it coming in. Almost spectacular fireworks to be had, but so close, not so much. But
Bob, that's the first major in a long time that I've failed to pick the winner. I had money on 12 guys, including Will Zalatoris, who came in second by one stroke. And by the way, he paid $6,600 if you bet 100. I was betting $5, so $5 paid me $330. I was happy. I would have been very happy. The only person out of the top 9, I didn't have the number 1. I didn't have Hideki. So there you go.
You sprayed the field, but not quite far and wide enough. Not they covered it, and let's face it, life is sales and sales is life. And the Masters and what's the name of the country club? Why am I having a brain cramp? Augusta National. Wow. Augusta does an incredible job, right? Worldwide.
I gotta say that was one of the most.
That story was interesting.
That was one of the most epic conditions I've ever seen, because it was sunny yesterday. I mean, it's like it really is like watching. Whenever you watch the Masters, the production value is so crazy. Like how beautiful that place is, and without as many fans, I think it made it even more green and more flowers. Because there weren't. Even though there was fans, there wasn't quite as many as there normally is marching all over.
There sure wasn't, and I honestly think that played to his favor.
Yes,
because some of the pressure that all these guys will tell you, when you hear the roar of 1,000 people around a green,
well, and they even
hear, somebody's coming for you.
And I don't even know if you noticed this, but they said right before Hideki got off 17. And you heard the sound. They snuffed it on the production, and I'm like,
oh really?
Oh yeah, you heard it. And then Jim Nance goes, yeah, we're gonna, he's not gonna hear what we just saw. And then they went right to it like it was live, and I was like, okay, so you already knew that Will made his, which made him -9.
Right.
Which, again, was pretty, to your point, nobody knew.
Well, she, I forget what's the gal that's the commentator also.
Dottie Pepper.
Yeah. And she said several times that you couldn't hear you couldn't hear those roars because it was, instead of 1,000 people around the green, there was 100.
Right.
So,
So it definitely worked to his advantage. I thought Xander, after the blow up he had early and then those 4 birdies, I thought he was gonna win, and I had him too. So I was like, he or Will. Like I was kind of hoping for a 3-way tie, quite honestly. And they played,
dude, and then the shot on 16 by Xander just, and it's so brutal too when you see him go through his thoughts and he clubs down,
yes,
instead of clubs up, and then like the last place you can be is in the water. The last place. Why club down?
They said nobody even goes in the water on 16 anymore. It's not a thing. So that shows you how, these guys are so good that it's not really an issue. But I don't know. I think you got to have money on Xander coming into the U.S. Open, which is at his home course in Torrey Pines again. So.
Yeah, but you said it. You played it. The rough, this U.S. Open is going to be unreal.
It's going to be brutal. I mean, it's going to be really brutal. It's going to be a heck of a
All right, Matt, speaking of brutal, pimento on a grilled cheese. Today's a National Grilled Cheese Day. I just thought we could go to the cheese futures, at the Merc and talk price discovery. We're not going to. We could, but we're not going to.
We could also do dry milk futures, but we're not gonna.
Any more trading in butter? You need butter. If you're not cooking a grilled cheese with a buttered skillet, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'm trying to say. Any more trading in butter? Who's got the butter pool going? Anyway, and last but not least, Matt, man, things are working slow here. Me just to say I had this up to cover on Friday and we never got to it because this was from last week. But PragerU, obviously conservative, right-leaning, fairly straightforward, seems like concise video arguments that they talk, pushing their conservative ideology. And apparently it's too radical for TikTok, banned by TikTok, free speech under a full-fledged war we got going here in free speech.
Yep, it continues.
Prager,
Gateway Pundit, all these conservative rags that have quite a big following are all being taken down off of most platforms.
Unbelievable. Hey, how about that? You like a conservative rag or a liberal rag? People used to understand that and say, all right, well, I'll read it. I know it's a conservative rag. Yeah. Let me see what their point of view is.
Yeah, I'll know
it's almost like we're in a world where there is no discovery anymore. It's just a narrative that gets pitched. We're in the pitch, hashtag that, pitch this idea, and you don't get to see anybody else's ideas. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
It is crazy.
Let's talk a little bit of price discovery before we bring in Bay. From Beaksy, the Beaksy Exchange, I've talked about them. I have money there in Chicago, a crypto exchange. But Matt, today in the fiat world, there was a 3-year auction. A 10-year comes this afternoon, and then a 30-year tomorrow. And our friend Longplex, as when I tweeted it out there, what did you think of this one? He said 3-year not meaningful to me, but the 10-year this afternoon and the 30-year tomorrow, very important in his opinion. So I have a few thoughts about the 30-year. Why don't you jump in and talk about it first?
Sure, happy to. First thing I'll take a look at here is the T-bond futures. And again, nothing's changed since last week when we brought up the same chart, that we're basically basing closer to the highs the last few weeks. Here we are, April 12th, and the high here of 157.10 or so has not been breached. We're $1 above it, and we're $4 or still $3.50 above the piece. So we're just stuck, and we've been in here since going into basically mid-March. So we've been locked in here for a couple weeks, Bob. And if you want to look at the 10-year, also the 10-year bond also is not doing a heck of a lot. It's even tighter. I would say that 131 to 132.5 area is really where we've been there, and nothing is changing there. I mean, that's just the same thing. Like we're just chopping broccoli again. So.
Well, I mean, these are some big auctions that he pointed out. So,
yep.
a lot of people sitting on their hands and waiting for these auctions to play themselves out, and we will adjust accordingly once they see that.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's such a different world for me. There's a lot that goes into it. Participation, the rate, the coverage, all of it is beyond my scope and expertise. We can't look at the chart though and understand that it's a fairly set up channel that they've been chopping around in, and all those other things are just going to drive the price discovery in or out of it.
Yeah,
All right, man, let's talk crypto.
Please.
And we're going to talk with Bay Abbott. Bay, hold on one second. I'm going to bring in the, this is how I do it. I have some skills, few and far between, but some. Hold on a second. And we're going to talk crypto, and I'm going to bring it in the way we bring it in. You gotta like some of the talent there. Bay, welcome
beautiful.
to the show, marketvitals.io. Bay Abbott from the Beaksy Exchange, one of the places I find price discovery in crypto. Bay, welcome to Market Vitals.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome, Bay.
Happy to be here.
All right, Bay, just give us a little background with your involvement with Beaksy and what you do for them, and then we're gonna move on with some questions about the exchange and the crypto sphere.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm the co-president of Beaksy. I've been here for, I'd say, 3.5 years. And my involvement is a lot of the customer facing stuff, right? So a lot of the marketing, a lot of the metrics, making sure that every night when the shareholder checks in and he goes, why were we down today? You have an answer, right? Or why was it a good day? That's really my responsibility.
All right, perfect. As a lot of people know, and maybe some people don't know, I've been around crypto for a while, was involved with a crypto ICO, which stands for initial coin offering back in 1718. I've been involved on the trading side, and it's been on my radar for a long time. First things that jumped out to me from the Beaksy side of things, first of all, the culture that they come from. A lot of these guys, a Chicago environment, this trader's code in Chicago, where my word is my bond, I think is incredibly important. Going along with that, Bay, tell us a little bit about the security and the custody side, because Beaksy, I know, has some integrations that are a little bit different than the rest of the ecosystem.
Yeah, so just touching on what you talked about, right? That personal touch is really important, right? And it allows you to, one, be able to trade on a place and go in, we could talk about the security and all that stuff, but it gives you a good feeling, right? When we can talk over, DM or email, but on the security side, right? Lots of penetration testing, but the main part is that the custody is handled by a third party called Curve. Curve was recently bought by PayPal. So our assets are, as they would say, under bulletproof protection. They use multi-party computing technology to ensure that your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, all the majors, ERC20s, anything that you deposit onto the exchange is protected, right? So the risk of getting hacked in that regard is low, very low.
I mean, especially for old guys like me and Matt, like when we first, when I first started dabbling in the space and I see that someplace got hacked and they're gone, like all your coins are gone. Like it's for sure for guys that are used to a trusted custodial environment, i.e. an exchange and a broker. I think that's incredibly important. I sleep at night with my money at Beaksy, figuring that even if they do get hacked, there's a custody in place that's going to protect my assets.
Yeah, and Curve also offers, at a certain price point, obviously, $50 million worth of insurance too. So it's insured as well, right? When you get up to that level. So there's another level beyond the custody too that helps.
Is that insured like a FDIC? Would that be a comparable way of looking at it?
So not exactly. So we have fiat currencies, right? And that's done through a partnership with Prime Trust. That's FDIC insured up to $250,000, right?
Right.
Crypto, it's not necessarily FDIC insured, but it is. They have like an insurance fund set up for it, right?
Right.
So they use that technology, that multi-party computing, to make them comfortable with it, right? Because the insurance company's got to be comfortable with doling out that insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With not paying out. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, B, let's talk a little bit of how new is the MetaTrader 5 integration, and just explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so we just recently finished the MetaTrader 5 integration. So I'm sure you guys are much more well versed on it than I am, right? Because I'm crypto and we're getting integrated and then coming to the FX world, right? It's multi-asset, and that's a lot of the appeal to it. The MetaTrader 5 benefit really is that you look at currencies, right? And I think I did a little bit of research the other day when I was putting a deck together, and I think the Canadian dollar is the one that's moved the most this year, and it's like 6%, right? And you look at Bitcoin just in 2021, the volatility on it and all of the other assets are, I mean, 98% on Bitcoin. Right now we're crossing 60K. So it's opening up spot crypto, which is a first to MT5 clients, right? So now they can use social trading, they can use expert advisors, they can use a whole slew of custom indicators that MT5 offers, because I mean, they've been around since 2010, right? So we anticipate that integration will bring a lot of the FX community and open up a world to not only the retail, but also approaching the brokers, right? Because we can then work with the brokers to mitigate or to hedge for their CFDs. We can work with them on OTC if they're taking Bitcoin transactions. So it really opens us up to a whole new segment of customers that we can then tap into.
All right. Well, I find it interesting too. Matt and I have talked about this a lot. Just the dollar and the dollar pairs. Back in the day, we actually had a trade group, and we traded the spread between the S&Ps and the DAX and the S&Ps and the FTSE. And the nice thing about that was you could earn, you didn't always earn, but we made money in pounds and in euros. And then there was this decision, like when you're up in those currencies, what do you want to do? Well, let's look at that chart. Let's look at that dollar cross. And we've talked about this a lot. I think this is an exciting development that, if you're in Bitcoin, that's great. If you're maybe want to trade into another crypto, that's awesome. You're looking at that price discovery to decide. But if you want to come to the sidelines, it's awesome that you don't have to just come to the dollar. You can easily come to another fiat currency. Just like you said, there's alpha in that. I mean, the yen has been getting schmeezed, and I know that's one of those. But at some point, I know at some point I'm going to rather own yen than dollars. And if I'm moving out of crypto into fiat, it's nice to have that flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I'm less well versed than Brian in this, and I'm sure you know Brian Peterson. He's our chairman, but he explained, triangle arbitrage through all the different pairs as well, right? So currently we have USD and Euro, a two-way ramp for both of those. We are in the final phase of testing for the pound, and then the next ones will be Australian, Canadian, and yen. And that'll kind of round out all of the currencies that we'll be able to offer, and that's more major fiat pairs than everything but Kraken. Right. So that's it's a competitive advantage in that regard.
All right. Let's talk BXC Black. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're in there, right? It's
yes, I am.
Yeah, one of the benefits to something like that, and especially as a growing exchange, right, is that, and I think the benefit for any startup, right, is that you can have custom or personal interactions with your customers, right? So, for instance, they have an issue, they need something prioritized. This is really like our exchange trading community that we nurture a lot, right? So some of the benefits about being in there, up to 30% back on your trading fees in Bitcoin. And that scales with the amount of volume that you do, right? So we have a monthly trading competition where we have 3 million SDK loyalties open that pay out BXY. So there are just a bunch of benefits, and we release a new one every month. Like for instance, this month is 50% referral link on your referrals for the rest of the year, right? So those every month that you're in that group, there are additional benefits. And, for anyone that's, subscribed to Market Vitals, it's kind of an easy way to take advantage of, a risk-free opportunity and get in, closer with an actual exchange team.
All right, let me ask you a question about the Beaksy coin itself. What is the functionality of the Beaksy coin itself?
Yeah, so the utility of the Beaksy coin, there's two right now, obviously looking to add more. The two right now are up to 25% discount on your trading fees. There's 5% base. What those do is those scale as you hold more of it, right? And with your trading volume. So our fees, when you look at it, are at least 3x cheaper than Coinbase, right? And some of our competitors for the same fee tiers, right? Like if you look at OKX, it's 100x more competitive, right? So it's a better option on your fees right there. And the other benefit is that you can stake them, right? So if you're holding them, you can stake them and you can earn up to 12% APY on them back in Beaksy tokens.
How similar is that to the Binance coin and the Binance coin model?
Yeah, very, very similar, right? Very similar.
All right, let me jump in here because we like talking price discovery, and I'd actually jump in here and share if I could, but for some reason I can't. Again, I'm writing to my congressman. Hold on, I know Matt's working on it.
You're all set.
I'm all set. The reason why I bring that up is because hold on, that's the bond. Babe, stick with me for a second though, because I want to talk bonds just for a second. The bonds that hold on a second, that weekly low mo level that we just we need to recapture it on my bond chart here. If we think rates are going to continue higher, bond prices continue lower, that level coming in this week at 155.12. Need to recapture that to think the bonds are going to get schmeezed more. We've talked about that long term. But what I wanted to do, because I agree with you, I own Beaksy coin. And if it's a similar situation as BNB, this chart is by far, for me, the most incredible chart in crypto. All right, it's your competition, but you guys are doing a lot of the same type of things. And if you can capture market, I mean, this thing went from basically $40 to $640. Matt, do the math. Matt likes doing math on the spot. I can't do it on the spot.
Solid 15x,
15x, because it does exactly what your coin does. You get involved in a community, you help it grow. If you actually become, if you're not a market maker, but if you are participating in the bid offer, that's what the community needs. It's just like on the trading floor. When they introduced a new product, they would actually, give buttons and ask people to support that product, to get into that pit. They used to have it in the S&P. Think about this. In the S&P, the biggest traded product, other than, I think volume-wise, it's the biggest traded product in the world. And the button actually said, please spend 15 minutes to these guys in the cattle and all these other places that they were doing price discovery. Give this some of your time and energy. Spend some time in there supplying bids and offers, and that's what helps grow any community. So, excited to see what's going on at Beaksy and what you have set up. And I got to tell you, for me, first of all, coming, being in the crypto community for a while and seeing so much of the shilling and bullshit that goes on in the crypto community, it was completely refreshing to see a group of guys with that Chicago mentality that my word is my bond, because, it's such a needed thing in the space.
Yeah, I got a kind of a left field question, and if I'm way out of out
go
of play,
for it, shoot.
I've just been reading a lot lately in mainstream press, whether it's Forbes, whether it's Fortune, mainstream Wall Street Journal, about Bitcoin and Biden administration being concerned that the mining is causing problems with the climate, because China does most of the mining. There's the percentages. where's give me the, like, how you see the risk on that side of things. I've read things that, so much of their mining is done in the Three Gorges Dam, and if that dam breaks, all hell's going to break loose. Is that a real risk? Because again, it's seeping its way into mainstream. This is not something that you're seeing just on some small sites. I'm seeing it in pretty mainstream type, pieces of news.
Yeah, so specifically, do you mean like the effects of Bitcoin mining on the environment?
Yeah, well, they're just saying that the Chinese use the most power to mine. They're the biggest miner out of any country. When you look at the different breakdowns, I think they're number one by a considerable amount. So,
I mean, this is going to be, I'd have to do more research on it, right? But
okay.
I can tell you like what I think about it, like at face value. I think that, like, coming through the years, you can see that the majority of the Bitcoin mining is done by Chinese companies. I think that's scary to some nations, right? I think that poses a threat. So like we can, I guess, couch it under environmental, but I think the bigger issue is who owns the Bitcoin, right? Who controls that Bitcoin? And I think that, like, specifically for the US, if you look at Sam Bankman-Fried, the owner of FTX, right? He was the second largest donor to Biden's campaign, right? It's things like that, people really making a positive impact in that regard on, that might not have direct benefits, right? You're not like essentially, bribing the campaign, right? But it has indirect benefits because, that doesn't hurt. Right. So like, I think that, I guess like in a roundabout kind of way, I've kind of seen some stuff recently, like Ray Dalio, right? He came out and said that, there could be a ban on Bitcoin. I think that, like, you look at Hester Pierce and what she said, like we're beyond that point. Right. I think we're really beyond that point. So,
just so people know, she's an SEC head. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And when I see a Ray Dalio quote like that, the first thing I said to Matt when he shared that quote, I'm like, he's short. Obviously, he's short. I mean, why do you say something that seems, from my point of view, and viewing the space for 5 years now, like you're not putting it back in the bottle. Like, so he's short and he's trying to get a squeeze going, and he's got a lot of reach. So I'm just saying, for me as a Chicago trader, as somebody that is cynical about most things, I see that as somebody trying to stir the short side of price discovery. I could be wrong.
I mean, if you have the platform, and you're short, no harm in taking advantage of it.
Right. You got the voice. People want to hear you.
Exactly.
No, I just find it curious though, because they are, the Biden administration has touched a little bit on the fact that the digital yuan has risks, and again, I think everybody's going to have a digital currency. There's no doubt about it, and are we going to have one? Are we going to have, two? Is it going to be XRP? Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be, what is it going to be?
Well, I mean, and the other thing too is we've talked about this before, Bay, that cryptography, although Satoshi revolutionized it 10 years ago, I mean, it's been around for a long time. And you see the growth in all of and the money thrown at this technology far and wide, from NFTs to trying to figure out how to, in that space, how do you more reward artists in a digital environment? It's just not going away. The technology is too powerful. There's too many smart people involved. And, and I said right away, the thing that impressed me about the crypto sphere is kind of this basis that there's bad actors, people act for their own interest. And how do we create systems? Because we haven't forever. We've just looked the other way with bad actors in different, human systems. And this one, for me, was the first one that came straight out and said, listen, this is how people act. They act in their best interest. And how do we encourage better behavior and discourage bad behavior? And basically, if we can use cryptography to do it. And I think that's the exciting part of it.
Yeah. I don't think this technology is going away, right? Technology in general. I mean, the S&P hit record highs last week, or so you see things like that. It's just our whole world is moving towards technology, right? And this is like an evolution almost in technology, right? So it's I don't think it's going anywhere. Like you said, a genie in the bottle, probably not going to happen.
All right, Matt, what else you got for our friend Bay?
Nothing. I'm good.
All right, Bay. Listen, I really appreciate you dropping in. I look forward to taking over the leaderboard in the trading at Beaksy. I gotta, I've said to Matt, and we've talked about this for a while here. We really have congested here, and I've been very quiet in my crypto trading. As if you look at my my ranking has dropped, because I think we're in a consolidation phase here. And we said last week, Bitcoin, I said I put you in the penalty box. Like, you got to do something here. You either need to retrace, and let's get some retracement going, and something to the short side, or you need to break out and make some new highs. But right now, I'm not happy with the price discovery going on in Bitcoin in particular.
They tried to get over the.
Let me just say this: I think one of the most exciting things in crypto land, trading in crypto, is the pairs and the crosses. And you guys have a fair amount of crosses available to trade at Bitcoin. Some of the other exchanges, not so much. And I just, it's my favorite part of it as we evolve here, is that the story isn't always going to be Bitcoin, and there's going to be a lot of cross trading going on. So what's your guys' take on that and this whole environment on cross trading?
So admittedly, I'm not going to be the best person to talk about on that, but I think that, like, as we continue to grow, right, offering more trades and more base pairs is obviously a focus, right? That's important. Like you said, right, going from the crypto to the dollar, euro, pound, like whatever, right? They all offer different benefits, right? So I think that's a huge focus for us, right? Offering more trading pairs and better liquidity and all of the above while we grow.
All right, man. Beautiful. Yeah. All right, Bay, thank you so much for joining us.
Guys, thank you very much for having me.
Right on. We will have you back soon.
We'll have to get you a new Beaksy logo there behind you.
Dude, I'll
DM one.
I like it though. I like it. You got the new one?
Old one up. Hey, we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, Bay.
Thanks, guys.
Right on.
Bye.
All right, Matt, what else we got?
We got all-time highs.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit.
Let's talk about, speaking of crypto, let me bring in the chart of XRP, which once again had an exciting weekend, traded up to 150, just shy of 150.
Ho.
And believe it or not, that's doubled these old highs. And again, Bob, this thing is en fuego.
I got to tell you, I mean, part of this story is that so many of the exchanges shelved it, like you can't trade it.
Right.
And so this reminds me of the pork belly pit, where there's not great price discovery available for a lot of people to participate, and it's like they get to have their own way right now. This stuff needs to be reopened up, so more people can take the don't.
I mean, it's hard to believe that you could have picked this up at 20 cents on January 1st, and now it's 150. It's shocking again.
And again, back to the story of where are we going in cryptography? Because when you look at XRP, it is the fiat and the bank's bet on cryptography. And so, and here's the important thing. You know that it's valuable as far as making transactions cross-border, almost instantaneous, right? And secure. Those two things. I mean, I just sent another wire. It cost me another $30 to send a wire, and it takes 2.5 days. It's ridiculous. It's like, can you please just adopt something like this in the fiat world so transfers can be near instantaneous and almost free? I mean, that's basically what the play is.
Right. Yeah,
I guess not so fast.
not so fast.
Not so fast. All right, Matt. For me, in the SPOOs, we talked a little bit about the bonds and the 10-year in a holding pattern. The SPOOs, man, for me, every metric on my systems are still saying that there's more room to the upside. And so let's just go to it. Here's the weekly in the SPOOs. Room now out to 42.15 weekly collar. A strong up candle last week. So I would, again, we talk about fractals all the time. And if this was an hourly chart or a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart, I would not be wanting to sell this yet. I need to see that exhaustion, and that exhaustion is 42.15. So if you can't find a way to be long, if you want to be short, you got to wait for the exhaustion levels, and that's what I'm seeing in the SPOOs.
It's just boggling.
It's boggling, right? But you know what? Don't fight the chart. That's all I'm telling you. Don't fight the chart. Back to the Bitcoin thing. Now MicroStrategy's paying their board in Bitcoin. Kramer saying, I'll take Bitcoin. Of course, who wouldn't take Bitcoin right now? Because you can easily transfer it back to fiat. I mean, it's not right. Like it's seamless. It's a seamless.
Over the end of last week, HSBC came out and said they're not going to allow customers to trade, companies, public equities that own Bitcoin. So that would include MicroStrategy. That would include.
Who said this?
HSBC.
Oh yeah. So battle lines are being drawn.
And then BlackRock, we just because we talked about this last week, BlackRock was talking about taking out Credit Suisse, solving that dilemma, burying that company. So it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff. Again, there's a lot of stuff that are.
Now, one of the other thing that I saw too, that I think that you shared it, was 96 or 98% of companies are above their 200-day moving average.
Oh, I mean, 96% for sure. Yeah. Yep. That means everything. Again, all assets are one, everything's through the moon, and you can't go wrong. Just, to your point, buy anything, anytime, anyhow.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the chart shows no exhaustion yet.
Listen, I'm exhausted by watching this market because we're up 1 point and we're at 41.21, which is. It has been
incredibly quiet here.
So again, you're talking. It's like the biggest slow-mo. Our range today again is 06 to 22, so 16 points. We're not even a third of a percentage wide today. That's our whole move. So, and again, when that test was the test of the low before, kind of where we tested overnight last night. So again, if you're just playing the last 2 days, buy the overnight low and sell the overnight high. And other than that, we're not really going anywhere. So there's no new prices here, just the same prices we saw on Friday when they squeezed them. Now we're testing them, and we couldn't go lower and we can't go higher. So it's hard for me to. So again, I'm asking you, where's the easy spot to buy? Because I don't see it.
Right here, right now.
Okay.
Buy them now before it's too late.
All right.
Guaranteed probably, Matt. That is what I'm telling you. Guaranteed probably it's a good place to buy.
Through the roof. Can't go wrong.
Cannot. You can't. How can you go wrong? Trading is easy,
It's
Matt.
so easy.
Let's not forget that. All right, Matt, thank you so much. Today, we are going to, do you know if our afternoon get together is streamed podcasted live or if it's a Memorex?
I do not know.
Anyway, we are going to go hang out with the great folks at 10 Barrel Brewing here in Bend. Their motto is drink beer outside, something that, I can get behind that motto.
Especially, especially after watching you huff and puff up Mount Bachelor because of the wind conditions on Saturday.
How about this? On Saturday, 52 and sunny on the back deck. The sun in Bend, Oregon, by the way, is nuclear. Like once it's warm, it will take your life away. The sun is so strong. And even at 52 degrees, if there's no breeze and you are sitting in the sun, you melt. You can melt. You need
12 degrees.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, it's going to be beautiful on the mountain. I'm going to go skin. I drive up. It's 22 miles away. It's 24 degrees, snowing, and 30 to 50 mile an hour winds. All the lifts are shut down. Parking lot fairly empty. I mean, the crazies that bring their motorhomes and stuff up there, just sitting in playing Nintendo, I guess. But man, what a difference 22 miles can make. And, by the way, a half a mile up in altitude.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
Anyway, drinking beer outside. We're going to be with 10 Barrel Brewing today, the podcast, and we will share that.
And I think we're going to be talking about sin stocks since 10 Barrel happens to fall into the sin stock category. So we're ready for them to talk about beer stocks, booze stocks, smokes, casinos, whatever it is they want to talk about. Ask the questions. We'll be there.
Absolutely. Sin City is going to happen this afternoon at Bend Brewing, East Side.
10 Barrel Brewing.
10 Barrel, Bend Brewing. What am I talking about? 10 Barrel. There's only like 27 of them here in Bend now, so it's crazy that I got mixed up. We're going to the brew pub. Oh, which one? You got a month? We can cover all of them.
Hey, by the way, the footsie is still has not made its high from pre-COVID, so still watching the footsie.
Bring that up. You got the footsie and the DAX. Yeah, let's talk a little price discovery. We used to run an ARB, a reversion ARB, and that trade went away, like most trades.
Again, this is a little red today, down 147 points, 0.6%, but the high 25.5. We have not, and that got cut in half. That's hard to believe, but pretty much cut in half. And now, 13 months later, we're still not quite there, but we're getting there. The DAX, same thing. I don't think it has. I think it has taken out, and sure enough, up here at 15. So kind of shocking to me that everything is just through the moon. So with how bad things are in Europe and the migrant situation and the total chaos that is Europe right now with the lockdowns and the shutdowns. And by the way, I did see over the weekend that Malta is paying you to come visit them this summer. So if you get a 4-star hotel, they'll give you like €200. If you get a 5-star, they'll give you €300. So book your time in Malta. It won't be that crowded this summer, and might be the time to go out on that beautiful rock island out there that has tons of history. So I find that to be.
I think I'm not sure it's not a bad place to relocate permanently.
Yeah, I mean it's tax friendly. It's not in the meat of the fire, but it's close enough to everything that's going on. That's for sure.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much. We will see you later this afternoon.
All right, Bobby.
Right on.